Hey Phosphor Dot fans, Earl at thelogbook.com here, and we're going to do something just a little bit different. As some of you who have known me for quite a while know, I am a huge fan of the mini arcade form factor. Now, this is something that really kind of came about in the 80s thanks to Coleco and Entex and others of their ilk, and I am a fan and a collector of this kind of game. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. These are the old Coleco mini arcades, and they are C-cell battery-sucking monsters with fixed TFT matrix screens that barely look like the game that they're supposed to be. But that's okay, because back in the day, that was about as close as you got to having your own arcade machine. Today, things are a little bit different. There's a bit more of a nostalgia factor for making it look and sound like the arcade. So, one of the companies that has really been cranking these out in recent years to great effect and making them decent as both collectibles and gameplay experience has been Basic Fun. Now, Basic Fun has a deal in place with Walmart where Walmart gets OLED versions of a lot of the Basic Fun games, whereas the rest of the market gets fixed matrix TFT displays, not unlike these games that came out in the early 80s. And so there's a bit of a disparity. The OLED screens are actually something not unlike what you would see on your phone, but they are built into tiny little arcade games that actually look like tiny little arcade games. But possibly the best one that Basic Fun has done so far is a game that doesn't even really exist. Let's play Fix-It Felix Jr. The Basic Fun mini arcades all follow the same basic form factor, which is that they are tiny arcade games. This is the Fix-It Felix Jr. game that we will be talking about today. As you can see, they really didn't spare making it look like an actual arcade game. It's got an on-off switch. Speakers are right here. The controls are kind of small. You'll see when we get to the gameplay video that my fingers almost dwarf the screen sometimes. It's got a speaker, has 3 volume settings, plus mute. Mute is always good. I remember taking road trips with my family with the Coleco mini arcades that I showed you in the intro. And, you know, now that I'm a parent myself, I get it. Probably about half an hour to 45 minutes of Pac-Man in the backseat going, "Bear, bear, bear, bear," would drive any rational adult to the brink of murder. And so I have to say, as a gamer who, occasionally likes to play things in the dead of night while everyone's asleep, not that you guys know anything about that, and as a parent, I really appreciate the mute switch. The Basic Fun mini arcades were originally molded all in black, but you can see with this one, they've gone out of their way to make it look like there's T-molding, and it's a cool little form factor. I love these. They're about 20 bucks a piece at Walmart, and the battery life is decent. I believe this game is still running on the demo batteries that it came from the store with. And believe me, this one has gotten some play both from me and from the kids. So, bearing in mind that the following segment is a bit experimental because I was trying to not only set up a way to shoot the screen with a camera, but I was also trying to not have too much motion in the shot because you don't want to, juggle a whole thing around. And also, there is the fact that it just drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely bonkers for people to shoot stuff with a phone vertically, because you may or may not have noticed that's not what your YouTube screen looks like. So I refuse to shoot it vertically, and so the gameplay segment here is a bit of an experiment, and but I think it gets the point across. Felix Jr. is actually pretty cool in this form factor. I was really impressed with it. So let's play. Okay, we're going to try to get ourselves some Fix It Felix action going on here. Pressing start gets you a dandy little instruction screen for those of you not familiar with the basics of the game. Here we go. Not sure if you can really see it well. What's particularly neat about this one, none of the OLED games that Basic Fun has made have been slouches in the graphics department, because basically at the very least they've been the Nintendo on a chip versions based on the NES releases of their respective games. But Fix It Felix Jr. is not a game that ever existed on the NES. It's not a game that ever existed before Wreck-It Ralph came out. And here we get the little cutscene that the movie makes famous. Goodbye, Ralph. And on it goes. Oops, bye Felix. Well, for the record, I actually really like Fix It Felix Jr. just as a game concept. It's kind of the love child of Beauty and the Beast on the Intellivision and Crazy Climber. And since I happen to like those two games, whoops, quite a bit, then that's a great combination by me. Oh, man. Sorry, Felix. Hey, pie. Pretty soon, you gotta run out of Felix's eventually. Pie. And once again, I have fixed it. So I think you get the gist of the basic fun Fix-It Felix Jr. machine. So, I'm sure you get the idea there. I'm still playing. Sorry. I know that's so rude. But the point is that Fix-It Felix Jr. Basic Fun mini arcades have been one of my favorite retro gaming items to come out in recent years. And Basic Fun really nail it. I mean, they get what those of us who are nostalgic for these little games, or actually for the big games, they get what we're looking for. They know that we want it to look somewhat authentic. They know that I just accidentally made Felix eat a bunch of bricks. Sorry about that. I love the mute setting on this. I can't express enough how much I love the mute setting. But anyway, that's Fix-It Felix Jr. for you. Very highly recommended. My biggest beef with Walmart having Basic Fun's OLED games cornered as a store exclusive is that I can't put these in the logbook.com store for you. So basically, I'm sending you to make someone else money. And there goes an Obi Cat. See, he wants to play this too. So that's that small thing aside, I can definitely recommend Fix-It Felix Jr. to you. Some of the other games that I've gotten by them include Centipede, Frogger, Cubert, Joust. There was a Target exclusive that it's kind of the same shape and size, but it's not shaped like an arcade game because it was never an arcade game. Oregon Trail. And so they made it look like a, kind of like a little, almost looks like a little Mac. Here's your floppy drive, which is actually the on-off switch. And you have the keys necessary to play the game, because obviously a joystick is not going to cut it for Oregon Trail. So we'll play this game another time. But the Basic Fun mini arcades and the Oregon Trail definitely do it for me as a retro gaming fan, and probably will for you too. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again to play something else and to have cats run across the screen willy-nilly. No, they don't have Mousetrap as a mini arcade yet, Obi, I'm sorry. Maybe if you write them a letter. I bet you'd be the first cat to write them a letter.